You're working in the ER and your monitor suddenly shows this rhythm. What do you do first? Defibrillate, start CPR, synchronized cardioversion, or call the provider? Or do you need more information? Keep watching because by the end of this video, you'll know the first safest move every time. Hi, I'm Becky Arvin. I have 20 years of nursing experience, including flight nursing. Today, I'm going to teach you the EKG rhythms nursing students need to know for the NCLEX. This is normal sinus rhythm. This is the rhythm we compare everything else to. The normal adult heart rate is 60 to 100 beats per minute, and you must know this for the NCLEX. Notice three things. The rate is between 60 to 100. The rhythm is regular, and there is a P wave before every QRS. The P wave represents atrial depolarization or atrial contraction. The QRS complex represents ventricular depolarization or ventricular contraction. So remember, P wave equals atria, QRS complex equals ventricles. So if you see all of those things, think normal sinus rhythm. Usually no treatment is needed, just monitoring that patient. Sinus bradycardia looks like normal sinus rhythm but is slower. You still have a P wave before every QRS complex and the rhythm is regular, but the rate is going to be under 60 beats a minute. This can be normal with athletes, but can also happen with beta blockers, digoxin, vagal stimulation, MI, and hyperkalemia. If your patient is stable and asymptomatic, you may just monitor them. If they're symptomatic, hypotension, chest pain, altered mental status, dizziness, think atropine first. If atropine doesn't work, prepare for transcutaneous pacing. Here's some quick monitor basics, and this is where students often get confused. So first, you're going to take the pacer pads, put them on the patient, and then connect the pacer pads to the monitor defibrillator. This allows for pacing, cardioversion, or defibrillation depending on the cardiac rhythm. Transcutaneous pacing is used for symptomatic bradycardia. You set the rate often between 60 and 80 and you increase the milliamps until you get capture. And this means that the heart is responding. Synchronized cardioversion is used for unstable tachycardia with a pulse. The machine times the shock to land on the R wave and to avoid landing on the T wave, which could trigger a dangerous rhythm. Defibrillation is used for pulseless VTach or ventricular fibrillation. This delivers an immediate unsynchronized shock. Sinus tachycardia is normal sinus rhythm, just faster. You see a P before every QRS, but the rate is going to be above 100. This is often happening because the body is compensating. So think fever, dehydration, pain, anxiety, bleeding, shock. These could all cause sinus tachycardia. So what's the NCLEX priority? We're going to treat the cause. We're going to give fluids if they're hypovolemic, give oxygen if that's needed. We can give pain control if pain is an issue. So we look at what the cause is and treat it. This is supraventricular tachycardia or SVT. The rhythm is fast, often 150 to 250 beats a minute. It usually starts suddenly. Because it is so rapid that the P waves are often hidden. If stable, start with Valsalva maneuvers. Bear down, blow through a syringe, modified Valsalva. If that doesn't work, think adenosine rapid IV push. If unstable, synchronized cardioversion. This is atrial fibrillation, one of the most common rhythms you'll see. The atria are quivering instead of squeezing effectively, so there are no clear P waves. And the rhythm is irregularly irregular. Blood can pool in the atria and form clots. This puts the patient at risk for a stroke. Treatment often includes rate control with a beta blocker or a calcium channel blocker and anticoagulation to prevent stroke. Synchronized cardioversion may be used for a fast rate with atrial fibrillation if the patient is unstable or if medications have not worked. This is atrial flutter. The atria are firing 250 to 350 times a minute in an organized rapid circuit, and this creates the sawtooth look on the EKG. This is your flutter wave. Causes and treatments are similar to atrial fibrillation. Rate control, anticoagulation, and synchronized cardioversion if needed. These two rhythms are commonly confused. Atrial fibrillation has a fibrillatory wave between the QRS complexes and no discernible P wave. It is an irregularly irregular rhythm. Atrial flutter is more organized and creates that sawtooth flutter wave. So remember, fibrillatory wave and irregular is A-Fib, sawtooth and regular is A-Flutter. This is ventricular tachycardia. It's wide and fast. It starts in the ventricles, so the QRS is wide. NCLEX question number 1 with VTAC is, does the patient have a pulse? Because treatment changes immediately. With a pulse and unstable, synchronized cardioversion. With a pulse and stable, an antiarrhythmic like amniodrone may be used. No pulse means cardiac arrest, so you would start CPR immediately. Continue CPR until the defibrillator is ready and then shock as soon as possible. Early defibrillation gives the best chance of restoring a pulse. Remember our first question. You walk in the room and see this rhythm. What do you do first? The answer is check for a pulse. That determines everything. Pulse present, we're going to do synchronized cardioversion or meds depending on the stability of the patient. This is Torsades De Pointes. It is a twisting form of polymorphic ventricular tachycardia. It is often caused by a prolonged QT interval. Think low magnesium, low potassium, also QT prolonging medications. If the patient is unstable or pulseless, defibrillate. If the patient is stable with a pulse, magnesium sulfate is the key. This is ventricular fibrillation, which is chaotic electrical activity. There are no organized beats, no P waves, no QRS complexes, and no cardiac output. This patient is pulseless, and this is a true emergency. Initiate CPR until the defibrillator is available, and then continue the ACLS algorithm. You would never use synchronized cardioversion on V-Fib. You want to defibrillate this patient. This is pulseless electrical activity, or PEA. The monitor shows electrical activity, but the patient has no pulse. So the heart has electricity, but no effective squeeze. This is also a non-shockable rhythm. So what is the treatment? We start CPR and give epinephrine. We fix the causes and look at the H's and T's. This is asystole, a flatline. There's no electrical activity. First, always check the leads and make sure it's real. But if confirmed, this is a non-shockable rhythm, so do not defibrillate. We're going to start CPR, give epinephrine, and search for reversible causes. Let's do a quick recap. Normal sinus rhythm equals normal. Brady equals slow rate. Tachy equals treat the cause. SVT, vagal, then adenosine. A-Fib, irregularly irregular. A-Flutter, sawtooth. V-Tac, check pulse. V-Fib, defibrillate. Asystole, CPR plus epi. PEA, electrical activity, no pulse. Torsades equals magnesium. If this helped, save this video. You'll want it again before exams. By the way, this is the ACLS algorithm nurses learn later. It looks overwhelming now, but if you already understand shockable versus non-shockable rhythms, you have the foundation. If you'd like me to simplify this in another video later, comment ACLS below. Before you go, if this helped, I made you a free EKG quick reference guide. It includes rhythm strips, NCLEX actions, and things that the students mix up the most. You can download it for free using the link in the description. And if you want more nursing videos made simple, subscribe. If this was helpful for you, you might also enjoy my heart failure video next. If you're taking the NCLEX soon, put your test date in the comments and we'll cheer you on. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.